In life, they say love is patient, they say love is kind, but nobody tells you what happens when the same love that once gave you hope becomes the very thing that breaks you. This is the story of Amara, a woman who loved with her whole heart, a woman who stood by a man when he had nothing, a woman who gave everything only to receive pain in return. Amara was only 19 when she met Tunde, young, stubborn, hopeful, and madly in love. Tunde had nothing, no stable income, no home of his own, no comfort to offer. But Amara did not care. When others saw a struggling young man, she saw a future. When others warned her, she heard only the sound of her own heart. Her parents begged her to be wise. They told her love alone was not enough. They told her that a woman must not build her life on promises and empty pockets. But Amara refused to listen. She followed Tunde through hardship. She slept where he slept. She suffered where he suffered. There were nights they had nowhere to go. Nights when the cold of the night wrapped around their bodies like punishment. Nights she lay on hard blocks outside, beside the man she loved, believing one day all the suffering would make sense. And every time life became harder, she told herself the same thing: one day, our story will change. But their last story was not only filled with poverty, it was also filled with pain too deep to speak of. Again and again, Amara got pregnant. Again and again, those pregnancies were ended. 1, 2, 3, until it became a dark secret between them. By the seventh time, Amara's heart was no longer at peace. She felt empty, used, broken in ways she could not explain. Then came the eighth pregnancy. This time, Amara said no. No more pain, no more loss, no more burying pieces of herself to keep a man comfortable. She kept the baby, and that decision changed everything. Suddenly, marriage entered the conversation. Suddenly, the man who had delayed commitment for years was now ready to marry her. But even then, something did not feel right. As the wedding preparations began, Amara expected peace. She expected tenderness. She expected that finally, after years of suffering together, she would feel chosen. Instead, she felt humiliated. Tunde began to act like he was doing her a favor. If she missed his calls, he threatened to cancel the wedding. If she spoke her mind, he made her feel replaceable. The joy she had imagined was slowly turning into fear. Then came the wedding day. Amara was running late to the venue. Her heart was already restless, but instead of calming her, instead of speaking with love, Tunde insulted her so deeply that, for a moment, she almost turned the car around. For 1 second, she wanted to cancel everything, but she didn't. Like many women taught to endure, she swallowed her tears, fixed her face, and she walked into a marriage her spirit has already begun to fear. The wedding came and went. The music stopped, the guests went home, the decorations were taken down. And then came the silence. Tunde did not touch her. Not for weeks, not for months. Amara became confused, ashamed, lonely in a marriage that had barely begun. She asked questions. She sought help. Even elders spoke to him. Still, nothing changed. For 6 long months, she lived not as a wife, but as a stranger in her own home. The man she had fought for, suffered for, sacrificed for, now treated her like a burden. And when he finally came near her again, it was not because love had returned. It was simply another moment in a life that had already begun to crack. Later, she had her second child. But by then, the marriage had changed. Or perhaps the truth had finally revealed itself. As the years passed, Tunde became financially stable. The same man who once had nothing now had enough to stand tall before people. But as his pockets grew, his heart grew colder. He no longer paid attention to Amara. He cared more about outsiders than the woman who had suffered beside him. He denied her independence. He refused to let her work. She had to depend on him for everything, for food, for
I
money,
don't
for
care about the
survival.
details. Just get it done.
Amara, once full of dreams, became a woman who had to beg for
We
what should
finalize
have come with
tomorrow.
love. And then one day, the truth arrived like thunder. There was another woman, then another, then messages, chats, secrets hidden behind locked screens and careless lies. The truth cut her deeply. While she was holding their home together, Tunde was giving pieces of himself to other women. Even their honeymoon, the sacred beginning she thought belonged to them, had been shared with someone else. Amara broke inside, not loudly, not in a way the world could hear, but quietly, like glass shattering in the dark. When Amara confronted him, he lied about some things and admitted others, but he never truly changed. She tried to talk to him. She tried to explain that the bond between them was dying, that her feelings were fading, that she no longer recognized the marriage they had built. But Tunde did not fight for her heart. Instead, he answered with pride and cruelty. He told her he did not care. He told her if there was others who showed her love, she should go to them. Those words stayed with her, not because they gave her freedom, but because they confirmed what her heart already knew. This man was no longer her husband in spirit, only in name. Slowly, love died. Amara began to see him not as a lover, but as an elder brother living in the same house. No warmth,
Please,
no
Tunde, just look
affection,
at me.
no tenderness,
Tell me
no
this isn't what you
emotional
want
safety.
either.
Only
I have
duty,
nothing
only
left to say
history,
to you.
only pain. Then life turned again. Tunde fell into financial difficulty. The same man who once controlled everything was now struggling. This time, it was Amara who worked. It was Amara who carried the home. It was Amara who supported the family. And she did it without bitterness. But one truth refused to leave her heart. The love was gone. She was not staying because she still believed in the marriage. She was staying because of the children,
Look at
because
her,
of fear,
walking with her head high
because of
after what she
shame,
did.
because people always have something to say when a
She
woman
has no
chooses
shame coming
herself.
here.
And then, when her heart had become numb from years of neglect, she met Michael, a different kind of man, gentle, attentive, kind. He listened when she spoke. He cared when she cried. He gave the kind of affection she had begged for in her own marriage. For the first time in years, Amara felt seen. And that frightened her, because now she had to face the question she had been running from. Was it time to leave? Amara was not afraid of divorce.
I've been
She was
so
afraid
afraid
of
to tell you
people.
this.
She was afraid they would say she left because Tunde was broke. Afraid they would forget all the years she stayed when he had nothing. Afraid they would not remember the nights of hunger, betrayal, rejection, and tears. Because society is often cruel to women. When a woman stays and suffers, they call her patient. When she finally leaves, they call her selfish. No one asks how long she cried
Look
in
at how she
silence.
parades herself through the
No one
market.
asks how many times she
Her
tried to
mother
fix
would be
what one
ashamed if
person
she saw
alone
her
could
now.
never repair. And so, Amara stood at the crossroads of her life, holding two painful truths in her hands. She could remain in a marriage where her heart had died, or she could leave and become the villain in people's stories. One evening, after another cold conversation with Tunde, Amara sat alone and asked herself a question that changed everything. If there were no other man in my life, would I still want to leave? The answer came quietly. Yes. Yes, because betrayal had wounded her too deeply. Yes, because neglect had emptied her. Yes, because disrespect had crushed her spirit. Yes, because a marriage cannot survive where only one person is fighting for it. And in that moment, Amara understood something many women are taught too late. Staying in pain is not proof of love. Enduring endlessly is not always strength. Sometimes walking away is not wickedness. Sometimes it is wisdom. Amara did not rush. She did not move recklessly. She did not throw her life into confusion because of temporary emotions. Instead, she became still. She began to think, to plan, to protect her children, to prepare her heart. Because living a marriage is not only about pain, it is about consequences. It is about survival. It is about choosing peace without destroying yourself in the process. She knew one thing for certain: she could not continue living as a shadow inside her own life. She had given enough. She had cried enough. She had waited enough. And now, for the first time in many years, Amara was ready to choose herself. Some women leave because they no longer love. Some leave because they were never truly loved at all. And some stay so long in broken places that when they finally gather the courage to walk away, the world judges them without knowing the full story. But only the woman wearing the shoe knows where it hurts. Amara's story is not just about heartbreak. It is about sacrifice. It is about silence. It is about betrayal. It is about the slow death of love. And most of all, it is about a woman standing at the edge of pain, trying to choose peace. So tell me, should she stay and keep fighting for a marriage that no longer feels like home? Or should she walk away and rebuild her life? If you were in Amara's shoes, what would you do? Stay because of history and society? Or leave and choose peace? Tell me in the comment section. If you have your story, you can send it to our DMs or click on the link in our bio and send it to our email. We will read it on your behalf. This is a safe space, so feel free to share anonymously. Thank you for sharing your story. And the advice we would all give will be in the comment section. My sister, choose yourself because life is very short and we live only once. You have wasted many years on a man who doesn't value you. Choose peace, choose love, and choose yourself first. Take care and case close.